So my hair is terrible. It's not getting better because, oh my god, Hanover is too exciting and it's like 5 a.m. and I need to finish this because I am tired as hell. So the rest of this game is where you start seeing the shred come into action. I'm just going to shoot some math out there, and my numbers aren't going to be right because I am just too tired to check this. But between Karthus Wall, Kog'Maw Q, Ryze's Spell Flux, and Fiddlesticks' Aura and an Abyssal Staff, that is 25 plus 30 plus 30, or plus 24 plus 20. So, oh my god, I forgot how to do math. I'm too tired to do math. This is terrible. But that's about 80 MR reduction. Then you also have the MR reduction coming in from Soraka every 2.5 seconds, reducing the enemy's team MR by 12. That's pretty damn good. And if you don't have about 200 MR, they're doing true damage or close to true damage. Imagine if you had 140 MR and Soraka had a couple Qs on you, and all of a sudden it was like you had just spawned and you had 30 MR and the game was just starting. That is why this team is strong. Anyhow, let's jump in and start seeing its effects. So, if you couldn't guess from the very end of last video, they die at blue buff. So that was a very silly blue buff steal. They shouldn't have done it while the enemy team was, unaccounted for. And the enemy team's going to go for Baron, and Fiddlesticks just blew his ult on Alistar. Now this is just kind of a major screw up across the board. Two people getting caught out bad, usually a free Baron for the enemy team. One is normally. But Fiddlesticks blowing his ult means they really can't contest that well because they're missing a huge chunk of damage. But blue team has a really bad Baron team because they're so underleveled, so they get a triple kill almost entirely because of Baron damage. Oh my god. I love this game. So what Vladimir did was a good move. Killing Karthus, getting him off the team. And honestly, just the fact that they were so underleveled and don't have a whole lot of armor because of the MR they need for purple team, they just got shredded by Baron, ironically. So, I love how that played out. Very, very silly, very, very random, but, it kept them in the game and did not let anybody get that Baron buff. Now, that still does not really excuse Fiddlesticks blowing his ult or that attempted blue steal without any vision on anybody. But, hey, they're not out. And I got to see a Karthus get a triple kill because of Baron damage. So both teams are going to, kind of poke at each other. When you see Fiddlesticks, you generally feel more confident you can be out. So right now they know where Fiddlesticks is. He's in lane helping defend. They know his ult's down. They're confident. They can, wander in. Maybe not start a fight, but they can be out on the map. When Fiddlesticks is MIA, that's when he gets scary. Especially if he has his ult up. If they start a team fight and Fiddlesticks' ult is still down, then, he can fear, he can drain, he can do some serious damage in CC, but it's not the end of the world. Now this is what I call the super bait. On my notes I have this listed as super bait. I love this. I love this little move right here, where they try and just kind of get blue side to go into this bush where everybody is. And when you see Fiddlesticks, you want to attack him. Now, I do not know how to explain this fight. Vladimir lands a perfect ult. There's so much AoE everywhere. I want to see a wall from Karthus. He doesn't really plan it down soon enough. But everybody's kind of beating up everybody, and I don't know what's going on in slow motion. This really wasn't the effect of Shred. This was just the effect of massive AoE and a fantastic flash from Cave Panda, really maximizing the amount of flash you can get. So the way flash works over small ridges is you can click kind of halfway through. And I'm only explaining this because I have no idea what to talk about. I mean, you can see that purple side has won the fight, or blue side has won the fight, but purple side's gonna clean up with Karthus. But maximizing flashes, you kind of click on the trees you're trying to flash past, and you'll get a little extra distance if you're closer to the other side when you click that flash, essentially. It's hard to explain. What I mean is, you click flash, if you're going to land closer to the other side, you pop out on the other side. This is why you see some pros in some games, they will try and use flash and be against the wall. It's because they clicked at the wrong spot or were at the wrong position to get that flash. Also, Alistar does get cleaned up by Soraka, which I find awesome. Or I think it did. I actually wasn't paying attention. I was trying to remember how flash works. So, Kayle is monumentally useless now, and that's unfortunate. Kayle is a pretty cool hero, but all she has going for her is her ult. And the problem is, she's so underleveled, her ult is still on a really long cooldown. Rumen are on, Soraka's also on a rampage now. Her farm's actually about the same level as Kog'Maw's, and here you just see, you know, some cleanup. They have so much CC and disables and slows from pretty much everybody on their team, except Soraka, that they're able to just catch people off and chase them down. Unfortunately, Cape Panda wasn't looking, so I couldn't see it, and I'm really depressed. Ryze is really far behind, so he really can't take any damage. That's one of the reasons he's dying to Vladimir so quickly, and it's why he dies here in this fight. He was tanking Dragon, he actually got taken down to half health, but looking at his items, he doesn't have any defense. And I flashed it there really briefly, but he has armor. And that's because Glacial Shroud dramatically increases Ryze's damage. Unfortunately, this is a side effect of going 1-8-1-8-8, but at the same time, they focused so much pressure onto Ryze that the other lanes were able to just kind of... Bot lane won by quite a bit, the jungles fell behind, and even though Vladimir is doing really strong mid, so is Karthus. I do find it very interesting how strong the Vladimir pick is actually against this team. What's happening is Vladimir is using his ult, he's hitting everybody, and they're all so squishy, just because of the nature of the team, the lack of a bruiser, that there's no real way to go in and deal damage. Now, I want to start seeing some MR shred fights. Those will be coming up soon. The real meat and bones of the team. And it's going to start out with Ryze being caught in the most unfortunate position. So, they just hate Ryze. I don't get this aggression in general. This is a good pick though. They want to secure Baron, and I don't know how good the ward coverage is, but they saw Ryze up there and they know if they kill him, they can probably go for this if they don't get ulted by Fiddlesticks, which with good ward coverage isn't as much as a problem. This is a very, very ballsy check. They all huddle up and Karthus checks with his Q. They see Baron on the enemy team right there. What you need to do in this case is back off. They go for Lizard though. And this is kind of suicidal, because what's the first thing you're going to do if you've taken Baron and you think the enemy team is nearby? You're going to check their buffs. You're going to try and take something. The hero Fiddlesticks will sadly die. Soraka's also very, very caught out. Ryze actually ends up manning up and going after Gangplank, which I really kind of enjoy. He's not worth anything, so if he dies without killing him, it's not a loss gold-wise. But if he dies, they can still push. However, Kog'Maw has just been bought this entire game. And this is something people have a very, very hard time dealing with. How do you deal with a side pusher? If you cannot 1v1 him with any of your characters, you're in a heap of trouble. And this is the case with Kog'Maw right now. He's got Malady, he's got Madrids. Vladimir can go after him, but the problem Vladimir has is he doesn't have any MR. He is Vladimir without MR. And what this means, he has a ton of HP, but no defense against the percentage damage Kog'Maw does. Even Gangplank, someone who does have MR and a decent chunk of damage, is just melting against him. They need to pull back their entire team, but they were trying to put as much pressure top as they could. If someone is split pushing you like this, you need to just kind of either win a team fight where you are, or stop him as a group, push out your lanes, and be ready to push back. I kind of wonder whether he could have killed Kayle by switching to her while Gangplank was ulted, but I think that exhaust was just enough to prevent that from happening. Unfortunately, he only gets 2 kills while his side pushes alone. And purple side is able to keep in this. They didn't lose any turrets, they lost some turrets, but they didn't lose any inhibitor turrets, they didn't lose inhibitors. That was an amazing trade for blue side. And it's because Kog'Maw is such a good hero. And Vladimir is such a weak pick against him right now. So Kog'Maw is just insane right now. He's got a BF sword, he's got massive damage, he's got what he needs to burn down anybody who isn't building armor, and anybody who isn't building MR. And now we're going to see the shred team take effect. So right now, Vladimir's at about 45 MR. It drops down to 15. Do any star calls end up on him? Oh, he should be down to 8 there. Kale is down to 37. Cho'Gath down to 22. They have no mitigation. If the enemy team is all doing pure damage to everybody there, they might have 10 or so MR left, and with the exception of Gangplank, who has 120, they're just all melting. Right now, Vladimir has 6 MR. He still does enough damage to kill Kog'Maw just because he does so much damage, which I really find funny. But that negative 41, and he just melts. And this is why I wanted to try this team and see it test it out. It's really strong. They do a ton of damage, and it's got this weird synergy where if everything goes kind of well, you kill them. If everything goes perfectly, you just destroy them. Fiddlesticks actually ended the fight at full health because he was doing so much damage with Drain and the Woda on the team that he just doesn't take damage. Now, unfortunately for Alistar, he cannot defend 1v3. His jungling did not bring in 4 Infinity Edges, which is what he'd need at this point. And right now, purple side, they have an advantage, and they know they can win team fights. That's the big thing. They know the enemy team doesn't have the resources to stop them in a team fight anytime soon. Like, you can't build MR against this. If you build MR, you need to build about 100 to really start chopping into this. If they start picking up Void Staffs on purple side, then any MR you get will not be enough. It's actually a really, really interesting combination of how it works. Which is, if you build MR, you don't have enough, but because of Kog'Maw, if you build just HP, you're still not going to have enough survivability. And their Cho'Gath just sees Kog'Maw, and he runs. He immediately flashes away. That wasn't warranted, that was just pure fear right there, which is funny to see. Now, I like this team because it is a team with a focus. Teams with focuses in general are just going to be strong rather than what you pick as a reaction. This is what's currently happening in Hanover with some teams, and they're losing. Now, let's see the MR of this team go down. So right now, Vladimir's at 36. He's at 0, negative 30. And Kale's already dead. Gameplank's in the 80s, Cho'Gath is in the 20s. They are just all melting. And it is true some of this is just from 19 MR before Cho'Gath dies. Some of this is because they have a lot of AoE. But just look how much damage Kog'Maw is doing. He was doing true damage with his W right there. He was hitting about 400 damage a shot. Ryze does die, Karthus does die, but that doesn't matter when you have a Soraka split pushing, Karthus has revive, and 3 people are up. I hope you enjoyed this. It was kind of a silly game, and definitely fun to talk about. So if you guys like this, tell me you like it, and I'll keep doing this. I want to give a major shout out to K-Panda and his amigos, because it was very cool of them to do this. So I hope you guys liked it, and yeah, this was a daily. Adios.